And now...
Welcome again to another episode of Flicks with my mate Steve Lynch, who looks remarkably like Albert Einstein at the moment, and of course myself, Jet Black. Jet's been a busy person of late. He's got this stuff here. It's got the initial KP on it. Maybe later on during the show you might actually find out who owns the gold and where it come from. But I'll just put that there for the time being. This week for your entertainment we have the movie IQ, Metal Skin, good stuff, and While You Were Sleeping. And if you think that we're going along with a lot of drivel and a lot of crap, we'd like you to reach out and call us on this number, 0055 26096. That number again, 0055 26096, because we really care what you think. You have the power, almost as much as us, just probably a little less, but you have the power to tell us what you'd like to see on the show. So reach out and touch Steve and Jet.
Hi. What seems to be the problem?
No. Do you have anyone here who knows how to deal with British automobiles? I really don't want anyone just poking around in there with a sharp stick.
Would it be all right if I looked under the bonnet?
Well, at least you call it a bonnet.
Ah, so that's the engine, huh?
Look, I think perhaps we ought to go somewhere else, do you? You take a long time.
That's the muffler.
You take
Busted muffler.
That's your problem right there.
What?
You got no spark.
What?
You have no spark.
Yes, I heard him, Catherine. So, I mean, what do you think it means? Is it the generator, the coil, or what?
Well, it's hard to say. You see, you have a Lucas Type 4 generator on a 12-volt system, and you know the British, they'd rather spend time gluing wood on a dashboard than getting the electrical system right.
Fascinating, but what is wrong with the car?
Well, my guess is your stroke is too short and you're getting premature ignition. Does it ever feel that way?
Like what?
Like the stroke is too short and you're getting premature ignition?
Well, I'm sure I don't know what you mean.
When Catherine, Meg Ryan, meets Ed, Tim Robbins, by chance, or is it destiny, sparks begin to fly. Or at least they do for Ed, for Catherine is engaged to be married to fellow boffin James, Stephen Fry in his American film debut. Fortunately, Catherine's uncle just happens to be Albert Einstein, Walter Matthau, who, perhaps sensing that, like his own life, Catherine's heart is being ruled too much by her head, conspires with the help of 3 of his fellow physicists to help Ed woo Catherine.
Oh, so you never went to college?
Well, I barely finished high school. I was always taking apart some car.
Well, yet you have such an amazing grasp of theory. You know, I believe that you used de Broglie's formula for the length of the pilot wave.
Of course he did. It was a brilliant stroke.
Couldn't have done without it.
Ah! I forgot that. Wait a minute. Could you remind me?
Sure. X equals 1 plus W. X was 1 plus W cubed in over pi.
Right. Can you invert that?
Well, director Fred Skepsey, making his first romantic comedy since Roxanne, which also featured the return of a comet, has turned out a charming, gentle little comedy. Meg Ryan and Tim Robbins are both in fine form, and Walter Matthau, with a face that has more creases in it than an unmade bed, is a delight as Albert Einstein. Sure, this isn't a movie that's full of belly laughs, except for one scene where Ed has to take a test to prove his mental prowess, but it is a movie that will have you feeling good throughout. I give this movie a thumbs up.
It's pretty.
Oh. Sorry.
Sorry. You okay?
Uncle Albert. I don't know.
Listen, Catherine, there's something I have to
No,
tell
listen,
you.
I know that Uncle Albert and everybody wants us to, you know.
But there's something
No,
else.
you have to let me finish. It's just that, well, life between two people, Sorry. Uncle Albert.
I'm steering the boat.
Well, Jet, what did you think of IQ?
Well, from the start of the film, I knew something was sus. The credits looked unbelievably cheap. And if you're cheaping out on the credits, there's something wrong. This Pratt drives a particularly nice MGB, and it's probably one of the highlights of the film. It's red. It's got lots of hexagons all over it, which is something the MG manufacturer was really crazy about. He liked lots and lots of hexagons. You'll notice that on his MG. The film was spoiled by these three old guys. I don't really think they knew what they were actually doing during the film. Tim Robbins, on the other hand, really worked well. He did his job well. So I like Tim Robbins so much, I'll show you another photo of him again. Tim, you did good in this film. It's a pity you were not supported so well by your old fuddy-duddy mate Albert. I think, Walter Matthau, your time is up. And there's Tim and Meg on there having a chat on the motorcycle in the park. That's the only photo I could get of Meg, so hopefully in the EPKs we'll get to show you some full shots of Meg. Meg and Tim, you were great. You were let down by the other characters that should be showing here, the old people. They really screwed up. So, what do you say when you half like a film?
Well, I couldn't disagree more. As I said, I thought Walter Matthau was fantastic. And the guy in the goatee, his old friend with the goatee, is Gene Sachs, who is better known as a director, most famously for The Odd Couple, which Walter Matthau appeared in. And speaking of Walter Matthau, we were lucky enough to arrange an interview with him via satellite right now. But before we start, I should warn you that his publicist has advised us that so scarred was Walter by the mega flop Pirates that he chucks a fit at the mere mention of the director's name, Roman Polanski. Walter, thanks for joining us. Well, Walter, playing Albert Einstein must have been a real treat for you. I mean, this guy's up there with Galileo and Plato.
Were they Greek philosophers or Roman?
Cut it out. Now, leave the guy alone.
Okay.
Walter, can you fill us in on exactly what sort of preparation you had for this role and what you did to get into the feel of Einstein?
I tried to get shorter.
Well, the accent, Walter, I mean, I've tried to do a couple of accents on past shows. I've tried to do a Scottish accent in Rob Roy and an Indian accent for Jungle Book, but wasn't too crash hot at it. How exactly did you steel yourself for Albert Einstein's accent?
He talks with a slight Bulgarian, Romanian, Hungarian, but 96% German. And it's a very reasonable voice, reasonable goals, as he puts it. He says contemporary for contemporary, and he says development for development. And he has a nice, sweet, reasonable, much higher voice than I ordinarily have in real life.
Yeah, your co-stars, Tim Robbins and Meg Ryan.
Meg Ryan, what a woman.
Cut it out. Yeah, sorry, Walter. You were saying Meg Ryan and Tim Robbins?
Delightful. Meg is extraordinarily bright, you know. We can see that she's pretty, but we don't know that she is enormously perceptive and highly intelligent. And Tim is way above the average intelligence and sense of humor, just tremendous.
This isn't your first time in Princeton either, is it? You were here before.
1953.